Happy Saturday, my beautiful nail friends. I am going to do a monthly manis for January. And I figured I'd piggyback on this video and also share with you guys some of my favorite manicures for 2023. And I really wanted to include those because some of my favorite manicures were, there was two that were twin manis, and then one was a collaboration. I freaking love them, so I want to talk about them. I know I featured them in a little shorts video sometime last year, but I want to talk about the polishes and all of that good stuff. Let me start off with one of the last twin manis that I did, which was a cherry nail design. Tiana reached out to me on Instagram, and she presented me with this nail design, which is so beautiful, right up my alley because I love cherries, are my favorite. And the beauty about it is that it was a very relaxed twin mani. We didn't select the same polishes. Whatever red she wanted to use, whatever sheer pink polish she wanted to use, we can incorporate pretty much whatever we wanted. I selected a red and a sheer pink, and the red that I used is a classic from OPI. This is Big Apple Red. This is kind of a middle of the road type of red where it's not too deep, it's not too light, and it's also not too warm, not too cool. I would say it leans just slightly on the cooler side, but it's not overly blue toned. And the formula is really beautiful. Get to pick up 2 coats, doesn't take a long time to dry. It's just amazing overall. On the nail design nails, I used Sugar Daddy from Essie. This is probably one of my most used polishes last year. I think I bought it sometime in the winter, possibly towards the end of winter, beginning of spring, something like that. I can't remember now, but I wore it a lot to the point where I have it down to here. And I really like this sheer pink. It's different from some of the other sheer pinks that I have in that it is warmer, and it doesn't have too much white in it, I would say, to where it makes it patchy or streaky. One good coat is still very even. It's not hard to work with, nothing. It's just really beautiful. I wore this a lot incorporated into manicures, and I also wore it a lot incorporated, not incorporated, but I wore it a lot as a pedicure. Over top of that, the little cherry design, I used Big Apple Red. And then for the white highlight, I think I used whatever white polish I was using at that time. The green for the stem that I used is from NYC. I can't find that one, but it's called High Line Green. And so I brought out something relatively close to it. Actually, it's almost like a dupe. This is from OPI, and it's called I'm So Swamped. So something like this is what I used. And I love that manicure. It wore very well. I'm pretty sure I kept it for a good solid week, and I barely had any tip wear or any type of wearability issue. The next manicure was a collaboration, and someone reached out to me on Instagram for this manicure as well, asking if I wanted to join in to celebrate Carolina's birthday, which is Gotta Love Polish here on YouTube and on her Instagram. And of course I said yes. I love Carolina. I think she's so sweet. I most definitely wanted to participate. And her birthday is in the month of May. So emerald was the theme, but you weren't bound to stick to an emerald green. Pretty much whatever green you wanted to use. It was also very relaxed, which is great. I didn't know what to do for this manicure, so I went onto Google to find inspiration, and I came across a manicure. Now I don't remember which one it was, but that manicure had incorporated a sheer pink, and it was an angled French tip and incorporating an emerald green polish. Initially, I had pulled out a satin emerald green from Zoya, but I wasn't loving it as much, and so I decided to top it over with this one. So the sheer pink that I use is also Sugar Daddy. Like I mentioned, I incorporated this into quite a few manicures. It's just really good. I used polish. This is called Dog Days. This is a green jelly with multi-shifting flakes, and it's just beautiful. It looks like it's encapsulated stone. It's just amazing. And then to hide the separation of the French tip. What I really loved about that manicure is that I didn't need to be super clean with my line, because it was going to get covered with the gold foil. And I applied the gold foil with I think I started off with a little bit of top coat and then laid the gold foil along the French tip line. That manicure looked way more complicated than it actually was. It was relatively simple because again, I didn't have to keep my line very straight. The gold foils were going to cover that for me anyways, and it really did look like it was a manicure I had gotten done in a salon. And I love the combination of these two. That's a manicure actually that I would love to do again, because it was so beautiful and classy and kind of fancy looking, and I just really enjoyed it. The next one is a twin manicure that I did with Hillary. She's also on Instagram. She reached out to me and asked if I wanted to do this combination. Now, this combination I had mentioned in a video sometime last year, and it was out of the recommendation of one of you guys, where you suggested me putting this polish over top of either a pastel pink or a sheer pink, something like that. I can't remember now. I feel so bad that I can't remember who it was. But Hillary reached out to me. She said, hey, I have this polish and maybe we can, you know, do the twin mani. And I said, absolutely, because it was on my list to wear. So I pulled out Confetti from Orly, which is another sheer pink, but this is very cool leaning, different from Sugar Daddy. Let me show you guys. Hopefully my camera will show. It's washing everything out a little bit, but you can see Essie's Sugar Daddy has a little bit more of that rosy, a little bit more pink saturated for sure. Confetti has a little bit more white base, and it's definitely cool leaning. It has a little bit more of a blue undertone. Both very sheer though, 3 coats, and you can still see the nail end. That's the type of polish that this is. And then we topped it over with Sally Hansen Let's Get Digital. This one, every time I've worn it over top of something, because it is very, very sheer. It's like a shimmer topper. This is not something that gets opaque on its own. I have put this on actually over top of marshmallow or a white base before, and it's looked really beautiful. The interesting part about this combination is that Let's Get Digital, because it has that blue tone, it has a little bit of a green tone as well. It has this purple pink flash. It seems to have some gold incorporated. It almost neutralized Confetti and made it look more white than it is, because this is visibly pink. And on the nails, it's visibly pink as well, but more of a blue-based pink. This seemed to neutralize it and turn it a little bit more white, and I freaking love this manicure. Again, very simple and very, very beautiful, and I could see that little shifting of the pink and the purple and a little bit of the touch of gold and the blue on the nails, which I loved. Now, those were all the twin and collaborations that I did last year. Let me now move up to the top here, and we'll start out from the last manicure I wore prior to this one. This is a Project Polish combination. So the last manicure I wore is a combination of these two. I mentioned this one in my winter seasonal rack and mentioned that this used to be one of my favorite deeper dusty blues that I used to love and wear all the time years ago. This is an old polish from Essie. It's called Bobbing for Baubles. It is a deep blue, but it has a little bit of charcoal in it, and it's dusty. Great formula, takes about 1 to 2 coats to cover the nail, and wearability is awesome. And it's a cream. On the accent nail, I combined it with another old polish. This one's from OPI, and it's a texture. This is called My Voice is a Little Norse. This is a silver holographic, and I mentioned in my winter seasonal rack video that out of all of the silver holographics that I have, this is the least holographic, even with a top coat. When you add a top coat to stuff like this, it brings out the sparkle a little bit more, and it does, but it's still the least holographic out of all of the ones that I own. Still really beautiful though. I love it because it's the only one that I have that's a silver holographic that's textured. Do Do I have one from Zoya? I can't remember if Cosmo is, but that one's chunkier, and I can't remember if that one's a texture. I'm pretty sure that it's not. Really, really beautiful. Great combination. Loved wearing it. The only thing, actually, let me just mention this. I don't know, because this bottle is so old, guys, and I most definitely over 10 years old, I want to say. How old am I now? Even, I think this is maybe, I'm going to say safe 10 years old. It took a long time to dry. Interestingly enough, because this is a dark color, usually I don't experience that with this type of color. And it bubbled up on me. It just, I don't know, it just performed a little bit different for me. And I think it's because the bottle is so old. It's the only thing I can attribute it to, because I never had that experience before. Still a really beautiful manicure. Another manicure that I wore, I want to mention this one. This is going to be mentioned in my project polish, because I used a project, a polish that I have in my project for 2024. This is a rollover from 2023, but I want to talk about it because I combined it with this one, which is so pretty. Last time I wore this one, I wore it as a topper over a chartreuse, more on the yellow leaning, and it was beautiful. I think it was sometime during the fall, not this last year, but the year before. This time around, I wanted to layer it to see if it would get opaque. And it's more of a, I would say more of a sheer type of polish. It can cover the nail very well, but you're gonna see the nail in even at 4 coats, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter, because you get this very subdued type of gold micro glitter and then a scattered gold holographic. This one is from Orly, and it's called Just an Illusion. It's so pretty. Pretty as an accent nail, complemented the nude that I paired it up with. Am I in focus, hopefully? And the nude that I use is Topless and Barefoot. This is a cream. It's a really beautiful pinky brownie type of nude, and it's super flattering against my skin tone. Let's go to the blue one. This one I wore, when did I wear this? January 6th, it was. I wore this one, which is a newer edition. I think I bought this possibly fall, maybe November, December. I really cannot remember. It is a blue sapphire, I would say, but it has a bit of a purple tone, like a purple flash running throughout, which is visible on the nail. It's a little bit stronger in the bottle, I would say, but it is visible on the nail, especially in certain lights, maybe low light. I thought it looked really beautiful. Most definitely looks better in person than I would say my camera captured. But formula wise, it was good. I think it took maybe 2, possibly no more than 3 coats for sure. I usually, even when polishes take 2 coats, I usually add 3 just to add a little bit more support on my nails. So really love this one. I actually want to put it on my toes next because it was that pretty. My New Year's manicure, I kept it relatively simple. I think I had mentioned in my holiday inspired mani video that I was possibly going to do something with black and gold, and I did. But I wanted it to be something a little bit more subdued. So I pulled this one out, which I bought sometime last year, and I'd been looking for it for a while. I mentioned that I was really looking for this beautiful sheer, I almost don't want to call this one a sheer pink because it's more of a sheer pinky nude. It seems to have a little mauve in it, and it's so pretty. Very, very different from a lot of the sheer pinks that I have, actually. Let me, some of the few that I have here, but let me see how I can do this. A lot of the sheer pinks like Mademoiselle or, what other sheer pinks that I have? I'm gonna have to pull my sheer pinks out. Vanity Fairs, I have Vanity Fairs here. From Essie, very different. If you can see the Orly one, this one, it leans more nude and almost slightly bit more mauve. And this is a very natural, like I'm talking natural, almost undetected. It looks like, you know, like they say your lips but better, but this would be like your nails but better. That's what I would call this polish. It blends right in. And it's so pretty. It has almost like a little hint of brown in it as well. I love this so much. It's if I want a very minimalist, if you like very minimalist type of manicures, this would be a really good one because it doesn't have too much pink in it. And it's super, super sheer, way more sheer than I thought. It's almost as sheer as Sugar Daddy. Sugar Daddy looks more concentrated in the bottle, but on the nails, it's very subtle touch of pink. Confetti, if you're familiar with it, this is even more, it's a sheer polish, but I would say has a little bit more opacity than even Sugar Daddy. So this one is called Bare My Soul, and it's B-A-R-E. Very appropriate name. So beautiful. I think I added about 2 coats of this one. And then on the tip of the nails, and I wish I would have taken a follow-up picture because for one day I wore it how I'm going to show you guys in the manicure, but then the following day or so, I added more glitter to the tip of the nail, and I loved it so much more. Oh, I adored that manicure. I wore it for a good week also. This is called Bold Gold, and it's from Sally Hansen, their Extreme Wear line. This has a mix of like varying sizes of the gold glitter and their hexes, and then it seems to have even some shreds of metallic gold glitter incorporated. And then it also has some black hexes, yeah, and then micro black glitter, and then short bar glitter. So fun. This embodies New Year's for me. I think it's so fun. I didn't want to put this, I was very tempted to put this over top of a black base, but I really wanted to see all of the glitter. And it's been a while since I'd worn this one, and no regrets. Such a good topper. It's a nice topper because it's it adds a good amount of glitter initially, but it is a little bit more sparse. And I like toppers like that because then I can control the amount that I'm applying on my nails. So it's such a good one from Sally Hansen. Before that, I wore a manicure because I needed a little bit of a palette cleanser. I am not a big neutral polish wearer or nude polish wearer, but I gotta say within the last couple of years, I've really learned to embrace them. A lot of my, I mentioned in a video that I was working on a polish rack that is holding my year-round polishes that I'm happy to pull any time of the year. Doesn't matter the season. Someone asked for me to share that video with you guys or share that rack with you guys. I'm still working on it. So, and at first I thought this is going to be really boring because it's going to have a lot of sheer pinks, a lot of neutrals, some white polishes, just very basic colors that I can wear with anything really. But I'm happy to do that. It's just, I'm still working on it. So once I'm done with it, and it should be soon, I will make that video, I promise. Okay, so I needed a little bit of a palette cleanser. And I pulled a couple polishes that I had not worn in a minute now. Both of them being from Chanel. So I have New Moon, which is a lighter type of taupe. So this has some brown and purple and a little hint of gray. And it's so beautiful. I brought out Wet Cement because I wanted to compare it so you guys can see the difference in color and how much lighter New Moon is compared to Wet Cement from Wet n Wild, which is my all-time favorite taupe, along with Commander and Chic. A lighter taupe that I really love is Miss Fancy Pants. I would say that one's relatively closer to this one from Chanel. I think though Miss Fancy Pants possibly has just a tiny bit more gray in it, but I'd have to pull the bottle to really compare. So good. This one about 2 coats if I'm careful. If I'm not careful, about 3 coats. But wears very well on my nails. I have no chipping or any wearability type of issue. Just really, really pretty. And then I also wore Paticuliere. I wore them both together because I could not decide on which one, so I did a few nails with, you know, one of the polishes and then a couple other nails with the other one. So I have Paticuliere here. This is a brown, and it's really, really pretty. They complemented each other very well. And again, no wearability issues with that one either. The next manicure is my Christmas mani. Now, I stuck with the same polishes for possibly the span of 2 weeks because we took a road trip. We went to visit North Carolina. We went to visit some family in North Carolina, and we decided to do a road trip. I didn't want to take the whole thing, everything, the whole setup and stuff like that, like a bunch of polishes for options for Christmas Day. I wanted to keep it relatively simple. So let me talk about the manicure I was wearing prior to my Christmas mani, because these were also incorporated into my Christmas mani. I put these two on a really bad day, to be honest with you, because I was doing a lot, you know, prepping before you go on a trip and stuff like that. You're just doing a lot, working a lot with your hands around the house and things, getting things ready. So I wore it for less than a day and it totally chipped because I didn't put a base coat, I didn't put a top coat, I just wanted something really quick. So I use these two textured polishes from Zoya. Now I love textured polishes. I've mentioned before though, they don't last more than 3 days, and if I'm very aggressive with my hands, they won't stay on my nails very long, especially if I don't put a base or some kind of thin top coat. I applied it again when I knew I was done doing all of my duties and stuff like that, so that I could keep this on a little bit longer, and it did. It lasted a good while. I think though I did put on a base coat the second time around for sure, but no top coat, I'm sure. So I used Elphie from Zoya, which is an emerald green. I mentioned, I think in one of the holiday inspired videos, that I love the textures from Zoya. This one and the blue one that I mentioned in that video, I love them because when they dry down, some of the glitters at the base look a lot deeper and more rich, and they're matte, right? Because it's a textured polish. But then some of the glitters that are in here, they sit at the top nicely, and so they look like they're just little twinkling lights, which I love. And it takes about 2 coats to cover the nail. And then on my accent nail, I decided to do a textured once again from Zoya, and I pulled out a really good gold. It's not a very strong yellow gold. It's a little bit more subdued, I would say, and this is Tomoko. Both of which, by the way, are favorites. They're amazing on their own as a solid manicure, but combined together, I just really love that manicure. It was so good. Okay. For Christmas, for our trip, I decided to still take these two and then take a couple additional polishes because the plan was for me to do a gold and red manicure for Christmas. So I decided to take these two. And for my Christmas manicure, what I ended up doing is using Red Carpet from Sally Hansen. This is another really awesome polish and really, I would say, classic from Sally Hansen. It's from their Extreme Wear line. This is a red shimmer. And that one takes about 3 coats. So I applied that on a couple of nails. And then I also applied Elphie, which is the texture. This time around though, I did top coat it. For the gold, I used a little bit of Tomoko as a base. I just did 1 coat for the base because this one has gotten so thick. I didn't want to be dealing with it. So I know I added a really good coat of this, just 1 coat of this one over top of 1 coat of Tomoko. This is Untouchable Decadence. Yeah. From Orly, which is a gold metallic that has varying sizes of the glitters, and it's just really pretty. That manicure was really nice. Really loved it, enjoyed it, wore it up until I got home, I think, and it wore very well. Alrighty, let's move on to the next manicure, which will take us into summer, because I took a really long break, I guess, from taking pictures, so I don't have anything for any other manicures in between. So this is one that I did enjoy quite a bit. It actually surprised me how much I enjoyed it. It has this really pretty glow effect in low light that I really loved. This is a Periwinkle shimmer, and it's from OPI. It's called You Had Me at Halo. It came out in the, I think but an Xbox collection from OPI. I don't know when this came out, to be honest. Really beautiful, very flattering. I think I added about 3 coats of this one, I'm pretty sure, because these type of formulas from OPI tend to be a little bit thinner, I would say. I don't mind that personally, because OPI tends to get a little bit thicker once you get to the halfway point. So I like when their polishes start off super thin, because that means I'm going to get use at a majority of the bottle before having, you know, some possibly drying or application type issues. And then the manicure prior to that was this really gorgeous combination. And I mentioned in another video, or possibly many times, that I always bring out Revlon's holographic pearls at least once a year. I will combine it with some kind of manicure because I love it, and I do still treasure it. I, though, don't use it more than once a year because this is my last bottle of holographic pearls, which I'm okay with, by the way. Not looking to replace this one. I've enjoyed it. I've finished other bottles of this one. And I have other holographics that I also enjoy, but this is probably one of my favorites for sure. It's just a holographic, a silver holographic. It's super rainbowy, never disappoints. Goes very well with pretty much anything that I've ever combined it with. I don't think I've ever wore this one on its own. I've worn it always on the accent nail, and so the usage that you see is just from usage on the accent nail. I've been asked before if this gets opaque. At 3 coats, for me, it covers the nail. I've never used this as a topper. I've always used it on its own, layered up at a few coats. And it's never disappointed. And I wore it with this one from Orly, which is called Rinse and Repeat. Let me pull out one that maybe you may be familiar with, which is Dory from Zoya. It's just a little bit more dusty. It almost seems to be a little bit warmer. That's so interesting. Not warmer. I would say that Zoya has a little bit more, it's a little bit brighter. It has a little bit more white in it. The one from Orly is a tiny bit deeper, and it's a little bit more muted. Really awesome formula for this one. I'm pretty sure I added 3 coats. When I went back looking to my manicures, I was really missing the almond shaped, or, you know, more of that tapered, pointy, longer nail look. But anyways, really, really good color. All right, let's move on to a summer manicure that is just, I adore so much, guys. This is one that would make it to like one of my all-time favorite polishes. If I had a whole bundle and I would stick to 20, this would probably make it to my 20 because it is my my favorite. That's red leaning neon. This is more red and orange, but it has a little bit more red than it does orange, and it's a beautiful one from Orly. It takes about 3 coats. This one is called Surfer Dude, and this never comes off accurate because the color is so vibrant. It's just so good. It's so bright. When I took pictures, it looks surreal because it's just, the color is intense. I love this one. I really like these other 2 that are on my rack here. But out of the 3, I love Surfer Dude more because it has more orange. I don't know. It's just so good. This one is Fireball. No, this is Fireball, and this is called Game Over from Zert Colors, by the way. In case you were curious, Surfer Dude is a little bit closer to Zert Colors, but it almost brings a little bit of a salmon look to Zert Colors right next to it. But it does bring out a little bit more of the orange in Surfer Dude when paired next to it. Okay, and then let's see, a summer manicure that I also adored. And I'm going to do a combination of a mani and pedi because I'm pretty sure I captured the pedi for this one as well. And a red and white mix or a combination, let's say, or a pair, always looks so good for the summer. So I brought out this white polish that I wore several times. Actually, I wore it for 4th of July, I think it was. And then again, I wore it for the summer for a second time when we went on vacation. I just wanted a no fuss type of pedicure, no fuss type of manicure. I knew we were going to be at the beach. I was kind of nervous because this is my first time. I've now had an entire year of this one, where I've worn it every season, and I wanted to see, okay, what are, you know, is this gonna hold up very well in the summer when I'm wearing open-toed shoes and I'm at the beach? You know, you're walking on sand. It's a little bit more abrasive. It's either going to wear off on the tip or start looking a little bit dirty. I didn't have not one issue, guys. This pedicure held up as if it was a gel pedicure. I was that impressed. It was just so good. So this is Funny Bunny from OPI. And it's a little bit, it's more of a squishy white, I would say. I added 3 coats. Super flattering, very clean, held up very, very well. I just loved it. I did take these 2 on my trip. Asked me if I needed to do any type of touch-up. I actually took them because I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna be at the beach. I'm gonna need to touch up my toes, and not once did I need to do that. It looked so good. It looked like a gel pedicure. It was just amazing. Such a reliable polish. And then the next one for manicure, I wore this one. I've mentioned this polish many times. This is probably one of my favorite reds out of my entire collection, along with a couple other ones. This is one that I would not do without because it's unique to my personal collection in that this is very, very sheer and it looks very candy-like on the nails. It's from a watercolor line from Essie, and it's called Highest Bidder. They did a whole collection, and I've been tempted to buy the entire collection on Amazon. It kind of comes and goes on Amazon. But I wish I could just buy this one on its own. If I can ever find it on its own, I will buy it to replace it whenever I'm done with it. But I'm tempted to buy the entire collection for the very reason that I want this one again. I don't want to be out of it. It's just such a good, cool leaning type of red. I love the fact that it is so sheer. But at one coat, it's very even. It's not patchy, it's not streaky. You know, sometimes with the sheer polishes, you gotta work with them. You gotta, you know, kind of try to work around those. I don't have to do that with this type of polish. One coat and it adds a really good wash of the red color. So again, it's from a Silk Waterline collection, and it's just so beautiful. Every time I've worn this, my nails look like a Jolly Rancher, a red Jolly Rancher. It dries super, super glossy, so it gives it the nails that candy-like feel. Like the glass nails that were so popular, I think in the early 20s when the clear glass nails were coming out. That's what it reminds me of. And then let's see, I wore, oh, I forgot my 4th of July. I forget what I forgot to bring up the topper. I also wore Sugar, I'm telling you, I wore Sugar Daddy quite a bit. I wore Sugar Daddy as a base, and then wore Firecracker from Colores de Carol. This is, I think, possibly second or third year that I wear it for 4th of July. Really since I bought it, because it's the only fireworks theme, red, white, and blue type of feel topper that I own, and so it's fun. It has varying colors. It looks very festive. So I just did a very simple. I didn't want to do anything super complicated, and I'm pretty sure that I just put it over top of this one. Oh, one last manicure, but I love this combination. This is a Project Polish combination. I used Black Cherry from Tom Ford. I had this in my Project Polish in 2023, and now rolled over to 2024. This is probably gonna be not my next manicure, because I am trying to alternate between Project Polish and Winter Seasonal Rack, and right now I'm wearing a Project Polish mani. But after I wear a polish for my Winter Seasonal Rack, this is probably going to be my next combination, because it was that good. It needs to be repeated. So this is Black Cherry, which is a black and purple. It's still performing very, very well. I am below the halfway point, and the formula is still really good. It's probably getting opaque at one coat now, but it hasn't gotten too much thicker. It's still very easy to apply, and it still does not take too long to dry at all. So I topped it over with one of my favorite 90 lacquers, and I'm gonna say it now, and I think I've said it before, this is probably my favorite indie polish out of all the indie polishes that I have. I don't have very many, but most definitely my favorite and my most used, actually. This is from 90 Lacquer, and it's called Be Positive, and I've talked about this polish to death. It has some silver glitter. They sit in a red jelly base, and so I don't know what kind of silver glitter this is. I've tried to replicate what this does with another, like a similar manicure combination or whatever, and it's an LA Color red glitter, but that's a red metallic glitter. And it just doesn't glisten enough. Like, it doesn't glisten like this does. I don't know what kind of silver glitter this is, but it's like witchcraft. I don't know. It is so magical and so pretty. It also, though, has matte black shards of glitter. So the downside to that manicure is that I couldn't see the matte black shards of glitter over top of the dark base. But the silver glitter, because they're sitting in a red jelly base, it just looked like little embers on my nails. Oh my god. Like, I think I mentioned in one of my Project Polish updates that I did that I was so distracted by this manicure. It was so pretty. So beautiful. I loved it so much. So anyways, I wanna repeat that manicure once again because it has to be repeated. It's just, the combination was just too good not to wear again. Oh, let me just actually, before I go, yeah, let's do this. I just want to talk about two, actually I wore more than this for sure, pedicures, but these are the only two I guess that I brought out. I mean, I know I wore Russian Navy, which is like a staple for winter on the toes. Fall and winter, really. I love navies on the toes. I also wore Teen Spirit. This one has more of a, I keep it for the name of it, really. It has more of a plum base and then a lot of blue shimmer. It's definitely more, you see that blue shimmer in the bottle more than you do on the nails. On the nails, it just looks like a dark polish. And I can't tell the difference if it's a dark purple or a dark blue, to be honest. So it's not my ultimate favorite, but I do keep it because it's called Teen Spirit. I don't know, for some reason it calls me, not for some reason, but it reminds me of Nirvana. So anyways, it's called Teen Spirit from China Glaze. The one that I'm actually wearing now is this one. I think I'm going to get rid of this one. I currently have it on my toes right now. I mentioned in my winter seasonal rack that I had not worn this in a long time. And although a pretty color, it's kind of in between a rose gold and I would say a bronze. This is called, it's Worth a Pretty Penny from OPI. And it's just not my favorite. I have other rose golds that I prefer so much more. I know I'm going to use a lot more. I do like the fact that this has a little hint of pink and a little silver and a little bit of bronziness. But I know I'm not going to wear it as much, so I'm just going to give it to my sister because I'm pretty sure she'll get a lot more use out of this one than I will. On the tips of the nails, because I wanted a little bit more from this, I had a little bling, you know, a little glitter, because glitter never disappoints and it always amps up any mani or pedi. I pulled out a polish that I have on my, sorry, my nose has started itching really bad. I pulled out a chunky glitter that I have in my Project Polish, and it happens to be my favorite chunky glitter in my entire collection. Like, I love it. I love it so much. This is a Grace, and this one, I've mentioned many a times, has a mix of gold, but it's more subdued, some silver glitter, but it seems like the gold glitter has a little touch of pink. So it almost makes this slightly champagne, and it's just so beautiful. I dry brushed it towards the tip of the nail, and it made me love this manicure so much more. I mean, not manicure, pedicure so much more, but really and honestly, it's only because I have this on. This is what made this pedicure tolerable. Because although pretty, it's just not my favorite. Maybe I need to try it in the summer. Colors like these look really pretty on the toes in the summer. When my feet get a little bit darker. God, guys, I'm so sorry. My nose just started getting itchy all of a sudden. Allergies, you know? But anyways, I'm going to pass this one along. Okay, and then the last thing that I want to mention is the manicure that I have on now. And another Project Polish. I'll talk about these obviously in my Project Polish videos, but I have Muchi, which is a pastel pink. I mentioned in my Project Polish intro/outro that I wasn't a fan of this one, and now I regret saying that. Or not that I'm not a fan. I am a fan of it, but out of all of my sheer pinks, or my pastel pinks, I should say. This is not a sheer pink. My pastel pinks, this is my least favorite. And I felt like it looked a little off before on me. I don't know. Maybe this is a type of pastel pink that I need to stick to in the colder months. and most definitely in the winter, because I am loving this. It is so pretty. It's almost looking very warm on my nails right now. Very, very warm. Now this manicure is looking very rough right now because I think the top coat that I used, I don't know if I love it too much, to be honest, because is that going to focus? I don't know. It the top coat made it almost like I don't know if it like cracked or whatever. Yeah, it's almost like the polish itself cracked a little bit, and I have dark very hairline lines on my nails, which I am not a fan of, but I stuck with this manicure because I was not about to switch it out a day after. And I know it's not the polish. I think it was the top coat that I used from OPI. I don't remember it doing this before. It's the Fast Dry, I think, from OPI. I'm not really sure. And I think that one is just making me get a little bit of bubble on my nail. And almost like it attracted, I don't know, it's the weirdest thing. These little specks just started showing up on my nail well after it was dry. So really, really strange. Anyways, I had Muchi. And then I paired it up with a glitter, iridescent glitter. Actually, that's Halloween themed, I think. I'm pretty sure I bought it during the Halloween season at HEB a while ago. This is called Fairy Dust. It's one of those very iridescent, pretty glitter toppers. I just layered this on its own, I think at 3 coats, because they are larger glitters, and you get a really nice pearl effect. So you get a little yellow, green, blue, purple, blue, all the really pretty ethereal type of colors. And I really like this combination. It's really, really pretty. I'm just kind of bummed that it just I don't know, it just looked a little, my manicure looks a little rough. That's okay. And then I had some chipping here because I somehow, I think, broke the tip of my nail, so it chipped off a chunk of the polish. But this polish wears very well on my nails. I rarely have wearability issues on my nails. It takes a lot, or if it's maybe a matte polish, but all of them do that, and then or textured, they dry matte, so all of those do that for me. Okay, I am rambling now. Thank you so much, guys, for taking the time to watch. I appreciate you guys. Let me know what you guys have enjoyed this month of January, and I will see you guys in the next one.